Chosen one. This moment is not an accident. You did not stumble onto this message. You were led, drawn, pulled by a whisper that has followed you your entire life. The same whisper that God spoke over you before your first breath, just as it is written in Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5, that you were set apart before you were formed. Anointed one, you are standing at the threshold of a revelation about who you truly are. A rare origin, a hidden lineage, a spiritual identity marked long before the world ever tried to define you. Those unexplainable sensitivities you've carried since childhood, those battles that made no sense, those sudden storms, those deep knowings, those moments your spirit felt older than your years. They were not random, they were markers, codes, heavenly fingerprints stamped upon a woman chosen for divine assignment. Chosen one. Heaven has been trying to get your attention for a long time, and now you are here standing in the light of recognition. As 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 9 declares, you are a royal priesthood, a woman called out, set apart and carried by favor the world cannot interpret. This introduction is not information, it is an activation. Let your spirit open, let your understanding rise. Because what you're about to hear will shift your identity, your confidence, and even the atmosphere around your life. Chosen one. Before we step into these 7 hidden marks, I want you to breathe for a moment and recognize the weight of where you are right now. Heaven has been arranging this moment long before your eyes ever reached this screen. You may think you clicked a video, but the truth is deeper. Something in your spirit was pulled here, guided here, drawn by a divine memory that has always lived inside you. You are not hearing a message. You are remembering something your soul has known since the very beginning. So let us begin with the first mark, the sacred mark of a wound that became a weapon. Chosen one. There are some women who walk through the world carrying stories carved into their very bones, not because they were weak, but because life tried to crush them early, and heaven refused to let that crushing be the end of them. I know you have felt this. You have walked through seasons where it seemed like every step took more strength than the last. You have cried into pillows that never told your secrets. You have smiled in rooms where your heart was shaking. You have survived storms you never told anyone about. And still you rise. That is the first mark. A scar that did not stay a scar. It became fire. It became insight. It became authority. It became a sword. There is something powerful about a woman who has been broken but not destroyed. She becomes a vessel that carries strength no classroom could teach. I once met a woman who told me she used to hide every part of her story because she thought it made her look weak. But the moment she stopped hiding it, the moment she let God breathe on her pain, that story became the very thing that opened doors for others to heal. I watched her speak to young women who were fighting silent battles, and the room shifted because she was not giving them theories. She was giving them truth born from fire. That is what happens to every chosen one. Your suffering becomes a testimony. Your tears become tools. Your past becomes a place of power rather than shame. You may not realize it, but every time you kept going when quitting seemed easier, heaven took note. Every time you forgave when bitterness tried to grip you, heaven marked it. Every time you prayed while your heart was trembling, heaven honored it. A chosen woman is recognized not by perfection, but by persistence. She is the rose that grew through stone because her spirit refused to stay buried. Your scar is not the sign that you were defeated. It is the reminder that you overcame what was meant to silence you. It is a sacred signature, a mark of divine endurance, a sign that heaven placed something inside you that darkness could not steal. In the ancient story of Joseph, he told his brothers that what was meant for his harm had been reshaped for his good. When I first read that as a young woman, I did not understand it. I could only see the pain of betrayal. But now, after years of walking through my own valleys, I finally see the truth of that passage. It is not poetic language, it is spiritual reality. The attack was the classroom. The heartbreak was the graduation. The wound was the doorway. Chosen one. Your greatest pain has been preparing your greatest assignment. That is why the enemy fought you so young. That is why you have survived things others collapsed under. That is why your spirit carries a depth others cannot explain. Everything you lived through was shaping the sword you carry now. The strength you walk in today was forged in nights of silence and surrender. When you were crying and thought no one heard you, heaven was watching. When you felt forgotten, you were being formed. When you felt stretched beyond your limit, you were being strengthened beyond your imagination. There is a reason your presence carries weight. There is a reason people come to you for comfort, even when you have no one to comfort you. There is a reason your discernment is sharp, your intuition is deep, your compassion is fierce. You did not learn these things. You lived them. You earned them. You grew them in the dark. That is the first mark. So ask yourself, chosen one, has your wound already begun to speak in ways you did not notice? Has your pain begun to sharpen you without your awareness? Has your story begun to glow even in the places that once felt unbearable? Because if you have ever walked through fire and risen with wisdom, if you have ever been knocked down and stood back up with strength instead of bitterness, then you already carry the first hidden mark. Hold this truth and let it settle in your spirit. Your scar is not the end of you. It is the beginning of your calling. Chosen one. Now we step into the second hidden mark, the mark of divine discontent. This one is subtle, yet incredibly powerful. Many women overlook it because it does not appear dramatic. It does not show up as tears or scars. Instead, it shows up as a quiet ache, a restlessness that will not go away, a feeling that you are meant for something more, even when everything around you looks fine. Anointed. 1. If you have ever lived a season where people look at your life and say you should be happy, but something in you still stirs, you are not broken. You are being called. That stirring is not confusion. It is your destiny stretching inside you. I remember speaking to a woman who had everything that society said should make her fulfilled. She had a good job, a peaceful home, friends who loved her. Yet she told me she would sit in her living room at night with this unexplainable sense that there was a door she was supposed to walk through. She said it felt like living in a house that was beautiful but not hers. The lights were warm, the rooms were clean, but something inside whispered, "There is more." That whisper would not leave her. She thought something was wrong with her. But I told her what I will tell you now. That whisper was heaven. That discomfort was a sign. That stirring was your spirit remembering the assignment you were born for. Chosen. One divine discontent is one of the clearest hidden marks of a chosen woman, because your spirit knows when you have outgrown something. You may still be in the same place physically, but spiritually you have already stepped out of the room. There have been seasons when you felt like a guest in your own life, like you did not fit in the conversations around you, like the things that excited others no longer moved you. That is not apathy. That is alignment. Heaven is shifting you. Your spirit is waking up. Sometimes it shows up at work. You used to love your job. Now it feels like a cage. Sometimes it shows up in relationships. The connections that once comforted you now feel shallow. Sometimes it shows up in your daily routine. The things that once gave you stability now feel like sandpaper to your soul. You are not losing passion. You are shedding an old version of yourself. You are not unpredictable. You are evolving. There is a moment in the life of Esther where she's living in the palace with comfort. She has everything women of her time dreamed of. Yet she feels this uncomfortable pull when she hears the suffering of her people. She cannot settle. She cannot pretend. Something in her stirs. Something in her rises. That feeling did not come from sorrow. It came from purpose. That is the same stirring heaven places in every chosen woman. When the nest gets uncomfortable, it is because you were made to fly. I have seen this pattern over and over again. Women who feel strangely misplaced in rooms they once fought to get into. Women who feel exhausted by conversations that used to entertain them. Women who look around their environment and suddenly feel like strangers. It is not depression, it is spiritual acceleration. When heaven begins to expand, anything too small becomes unbearable. Anointed one, if you have ever cried because you wanted to be content like everyone else, hear this. You were never designed to settle. Your soul carries too much fire. Your calling carries too much weight. Your purpose carries too much responsibility. Ordinary life cannot hold you. Your destiny refuses to let you shrink. This divine discontent is heaven rearranging your spirit, preparing you for a realm you have not entered yet. It is the tug that moves you toward new assignments, new territory, new identity. It is the sound of destiny knocking on the door of your heart. And yes, it is uncomfortable. Growth always is. When a bird's wings grow stronger, the nest becomes painful. When a seed begins to sprout, the soil becomes tight. When a woman begins to evolve, her old environment can no longer contain her. I once walked through a season like this myself. Everything in my life looked stable, but inside it felt like I was living in a room with air that no longer reached my lungs. Every routine felt too small. Every plan I once loved felt like someone else's vision. It was not sadness, it was awakening. It was the moment heaven whispered, "You have outgrown this place," and chosen one. The moment I accepted that whisper, my entire life shifted. The moment I stopped trying to force myself to fit in, old spaces, new doors opened. That is the sacred power of divine discontent. It is not there to frustrate you. It is there to guide you. It is heaven saying, prepare for movement. Something is changing. Something is rising. Something is calling your name. Chosen one. If this message is stirring something in you, if your heart is burning with a feeling you cannot explain, do not ignore it. You are being repositioned. You are being stretched. You are being moved toward the next chapter of your destiny. This discomfort is not the enemy. It is your invitation. Let that sink in. Divine discontent is a sign that heaven is transitioning you. Chosen one. Now we step into the third hidden mark, the mark of divine sensitivity. This is one of the most misunderstood gifts a chosen woman carries, and yet it is one of the clearest signs of who she truly is. If you have ever been told you feel too much care, too much, notice too much, or cry too easily, I want you to lean in, because what the world calls emotional heaven calls anointed. Anointed one. There is a reason your heart has always been tender, even in seasons when you tried to harden it. There is a reason you feel the weight of things that others ignore. You are not fragile. You are spiritually awake. Your sensitivity is not a weakness. It is a prophetic instrument, a spiritual antenna tuned to frequencies others cannot hear. I once spoke with a woman who said she hated how deeply she felt everything. She said she could walk into a room and instantly sense if something was wrong. She could hear a certain tone in someone's voice and know they were hurting. She could sit next to a friend who said she was fine and feel the truth beneath the surface. She thought she was cursed with too much heart, but I looked her in the eyes and told her the truth. She was not cursed. She was entrusted, chosen one. You have been entrusted with heaven's heartbeat. Your tears are prayers. Your compassion is warfare. Your ability to feel what others try to hide is not a burden. It is evidence that you carry spiritual authority. People do not realize it, but the ones who feel the most deeply are often the ones who carry the greatest anointing to intercede, to protect, to heal, to discern. You have been given a heart that responds to the invisible. When something in the spirit is shifting, you feel it before others see it. When someone is in pain, your spirit aches. When injustice rises, something inside you burns with a fire you cannot explain. This is not sensitivity. This is spiritual assignment. There have been nights when you cried and did not even know why. Those tears were not random. They were intercession. They were your spirit speaking the language of heaven. I know there were moments when you felt heavy for no reason, moments when your chest tightened as if your heart was carrying someone else's storm. You were, because chosen women are often midwives in the spirit. They carry the burdens of others until breakthrough comes. This can be exhausting. There have been times when you felt emotionally drained without knowing why. There have been days when you avoided certain people because just being near them made your spirit uneasy. You felt things shifting in the atmosphere that others were blind to. This is the mark of a chosen woman. You are spirit-led, not sight-led. Let me share something personal. Many years ago, I walked into a gathering of people who all seemed happy, laughing, relaxed. But the moment I stepped into that space, I felt something was off. A heaviness hung in the air, something unspoken. I could not explain it, and for a moment I questioned myself. But later that night, someone in that group broke down in tears and confessed she had been hiding deep pain. I realized then that my discomfort was not confusion, it was discernment. Heaven was showing me what eyes could not see. Chosen one, you have felt that too. You have walked into places where your spirit tightened. You have spoken to people whose words sounded kind, but whose energy felt cold. You have sensed danger before it revealed itself. You have sensed grief before it was spoken. This is not paranoia. This is prophetic sensitivity. Women like you carry invisible burdens, not because you lack boundaries, but because heaven trusts you with things others could not bear. Your compassion has saved people who will never know it. Your prayers have protected people who never knew you prayed. Your intercession has shifted atmospheres that no one else could feel. You are the kind of woman who wakes up at 3 in the morning with someone on your heart and does not know why. You are the kind of woman who cries during worship when others feel nothing. You are the kind of woman who feels overwhelmed in crowds, not because you are weak, but because you are absorbing what others silently carry. You are the kind of woman who senses spiritual warfare before it reaches the surface. All of this is a sign. You were built with a heavenly sensor, a spiritual radar, a heart that mirrors the compassion of Christ. And yes, it can be lonely. Sensitive spirits are often misunderstood. People think you overreact. They think you care too deeply. They think you imagine things. But heaven knows exactly who you are. Heaven sees you. Heaven trusts you. Anointed one. This sensitivity is one of the rarest marks of being chosen. It means your spirit has always been connected to the unseen realm, even when you did not understand it. It means heaven whispers to you through feeling rather than noise. It means your heart is not just flesh. It is a prophetic instrument. So instead of asking why you feel so much, ask why heaven trusts you this deeply. Because this third mark reveals something profound. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. It is proof that you were chosen to carry what others cannot. Chosen one. The fourth hidden mark is one that every anointed woman eventually encounters. It is the mark of attracting unprovoked attacks. This mark is painful, confusing, and often the hardest to understand. But once you see it through spiritual eyes, you will never misinterpret these battles again. Anointed one chosen women do not walk into playgrounds. They walk onto battlefields, not because they seek war, but because their very existence threatens the kingdom of darkness. Your presence carries light, and wherever light appears, shadows react. This is why your life has felt like a series of strange confrontations. People you barely knew disliked you. Women who never spoke to you whispered about you. Individuals you were kind to became jealous or hostile. You faced accusations you did not deserve. You were slandered without cause. You were targeted without explanation. That was not coincidence. That was confirmation. I remember speaking to a woman who told me she never understood why certain people seemed irritated by her before she even spoke a word. She said it felt like her presence alone provoked something in others. Some walked away from her. Some tried to dim her light. Some grew cold without reason. But when she shared her story, I recognized the pattern immediately. She was not being rejected. She was being revealed. She carried light that unsettled darkness. Chosen one, that has happened to you too. The way certain people disliked you without knowing you. The way some individuals competed with you even when you were not competing. The way others seemed to feel threatened by your peace, your kindness, or your quiet strength. You wondered what you did wrong. You wondered why your heart was misunderstood. But the truth is simple. Your spirit was seen before your words were heard. In the spiritual realm, light is not silent. It speaks. It signals. It exposes. Before you open your mouth, your presence announces your identity. Darkness recognizes chosen ones long before they recognize themselves. This is why you were attacked early in life. This is why certain people tried to break you before you fully grew. This is why betrayal hit you harder than it hit others. Your destiny was visible in the spirit long before it was visible in the natural. Some of the attacks you endured were never about who you are right now. They were about who you were becoming. The enemy saw your future and tried to stop you in your past. That is why the warfare felt unfair. That is why certain seasons felt like you were fighting battles you never asked for. Your calling triggered conflict. Your purity attracted envy. Your strength awakened resistance. And your obedience placed a target on your back. I once walked through a season where everything seemed to go wrong at once. Relationships crumbled, opportunities vanished, people misread my intentions. I felt attacked from every side. I remember crying out to God and asking why me. But in the quiet of that moment, I sensed a shift. The answer that rose in my spirit was not a rebuke, it was a revelation. The reason the enemy was fighting me so relentlessly was because I had stepped dangerously close to the next level of my calling. Chosen one, that is true for you as well. Your attacks were never random. They were responses, reactions, indicators that you carry something powerful. A woman of destiny cannot walk unnoticed. Your light exposes hidden things. Your growth disrupts familiar spirits. Your obedience irritates hell. So of course the enemy tried to discourage you. Of course he tried to isolate you. Of course he tried to make you feel unworthy or unwanted. If he could not destroy you, he hoped he could silence you. But here you are, still rising, still pressing, still fighting, still believing. That alone testifies to who you are. Anointed one, hear me. Your attack was not evidence of your weakness. It was evidence of your value. The enemy does not waste ammunition on someone who carries nothing. He targets those who carry purpose, those who carry anointing, those who carry the potential to break generational patterns and shift spiritual atmospheres. You have likely noticed that when you get close to breakthrough, warfare intensifies. When you step into new territory, opposition rises. When you begin to heal old wounds, try to reopen. This is not spiritual paranoia. This is spiritual pattern. Chosen women carry the kind of calling that makes them dangerous. Your presence shifts rooms. Your prayers change outcomes. Your voice carries authority. And because of that, your life has been marked by battles that seem too big for you. But they were not too big. They were perfectly sized for the strength heaven placed in you. And here is the truth the enemy never wants you to know. Every attack that came against you only sharpened you. Every betrayal only deepened your discernment. Every rejection strengthened your identity. Every storm refined your spirit. You are not fragile. You are forged. Chosen one. Before we move to the next mark, let this truth settle into your spirit like fire. You were attacked because you are anointed. You survived because you are chosen. Chosen one. Now we step into the fifth hidden mark. This is one of the most painful, one of the most personal, and yet one of the most prophetic marks a chosen woman carries. It is the mark of being misunderstood and isolated. And I want you to hear me with your spirit, not just your ears. This mark is not punishment. It is preparation. Anointed one, you know this feeling well. Being surrounded by people yet feeling unseen. Being loved but not understood. Being present but still alone. This has followed you in every season, even when you tried to ignore it. It showed up in childhood when you chose quiet over chaos. It showed up in your teenage years when others bonded easily while you felt different. And it shows up now as an adult in the form of relationships that fade, friendships that shift, circles that shrink, and environments where you feel like a visitor instead of a resident. Chosen women carry a spiritual frequency that not everyone can handle. Your presence carries truth that unsettles those living in comfort. Your discernment sees through things that others choose to ignore. Your spirit is older than your years, and your calling requires solitude long before it demands visibility. That is why your life has felt like a rhythm of connection and separation, a dance between closeness and distance. I once spoke with a woman who told me she felt like she was always on the outside of her own life. She said she loved deeply, but often felt unreciprocated. She gave generously, but often received little in return. She carried wisdom, but felt dismissed by those who needed it most. She believed something was wrong with her, but after hearing her story, I understood immediately. There was nothing wrong with her. She was simply separated by calling. Chosen. One, isolation has never been a sign of your inadequacy. It has always been a sign of your distinction. Heaven often hides its strongest soldiers in seasons of silence, not because they are unworthy, but because they are being refined. Think about the times you felt invisible. Think about the times you wondered why no one checked on you. Think about the times you shared your heart and felt misunderstood. These were not accidents. These were holy separations. Your spirit is not ordinary. Your mind is not average. Your destiny is not common. And because of that, God cannot allow you to absorb the noise of people who would distort what He is cultivating inside you. This is why He pulled you away from certain circles. This is why He allowed certain friendships to drift. This is why He closed certain doors before you could even knock. Isolation is often the protection you do not know you need. There have been seasons when you begged for God to bring the right people into your life. Seasons when you cried because you felt forgotten. Seasons when you questioned why everyone else seemed to have community while you navigated storms alone. But chosen one. The solitude you walked through sharpened your discernment. It taught you to hear God clearly. It forced you to build spiritual muscles that would have remained weak had you been surrounded by people who diluted your purpose. I want to share something personal with you. There was a time when I sat in a room full of people, laughing, talking, connecting. And yet I felt this strange distance inside my chest. I tried to shake it off, tried to blend in, tried to silence that quiet sense that I did not belong there. But later in prayer, the truth became clear. That discomfort was not rejection, it was redirection. Heaven was signaling that the environment I was trying to fit into was not aligned with where God was taking me. Chosen one, you have felt this too. You have tried to hold on to people who drifted. You have tried to force yourself into spaces where your spirit felt restless. You have tried to fit into groups that could not perceive your value. But every time you tried to stay something in, you whispered, move, separate, transition. That whisper came from heaven. It was God pulling you aside so He could transform things in you that could not be shaped in the noise of crowds. You may not realize it yet, but isolation has given you gifts that multitudes cannot. You learned how to be strong when no one clapped for you. You learned how to pray when no one encouraged you. You learned how to discern when no one warned you. You learned how to stand when no one stood beside you. This is why your spirit carries authority. This is why you walk with quiet confidence. This is why your heart sees deeper than others see. A chosen woman is rarely understood because her spirit is uncommon. She hears differently. She sees differently. She feels differently. She processes differently. She grows differently. And heaven hides what it is shaping. When a masterpiece is being painted, the artist covers it. When a soldier is being trained, the commander isolates them. When a seed is becoming a tree, the soil conceals it. Chosen one. The world may not have understood you, but heaven always has. Your isolation is not the end of your story. It is the birthplace of your identity. Before we move to the next mark, let this truth settle deep into your spirit. You were not abandoned, you were positioned, chosen one. Now we walk into the sixth hidden mark, the mark of growing in the dark. This may be the most sacred of them all because this mark is not seen by the world. It is known only by you, by heaven, and by the shadows that once tried to swallow you. This is the mark of the woman who was developed in silence, shaped in obscurity, and strengthened in seasons where no one applauded, no one noticed, and no one understood. Anointed one. You have lived through seasons where your effort felt invisible, your progress felt unnoticed, and your heart felt unseen. Yet even in those hidden years, something holy was happening. You were not buried, you were planted. The difference is everything. Burial ends a thing, planting begins it. Think back to the times in your life when everything felt still, when opportunities slowed, when relationships faded, when your name disappeared from conversations, when your phone stopped ringing. Those were the seasons you mistook for decline. But heaven saw them as construction zones. Your roots were growing, your identity was stabilizing, your spirit was deepening. What felt like abandonment was actually preparation. I once spoke with a woman who felt like her entire life had come to a halt. Everything she once relied on had faded. She told me she felt like a seed covered in dirt, suffocated by the pressure around her. But when she looked back later, she realized something profound. It was under that soil that she discovered her voice. It was in the darkness that she learned to pray with authority. It was in solitude that she developed wisdom. She grew in ways she never could have grown in the sunlight. Chosen one, that is the story of every anointed woman. Heaven often hides its strongest daughters until the appointed time, not because they are unworthy, but because their destiny requires depth that cannot be built in public. Before God elevates you, He strengthens your foundation. Before He reveals you, He roots you. Before He multiplies you, He matures you. Your hidden years were not punishment, they were preservation. Think about it. Seeds do not grow on mountaintops where every eye can see them. They grow underground, pressed beneath layers of darkness. Yet that darkness is not their enemy. It is their womb. It is the environment that activates their potential. The pressure pushes them to expand. The soil forces them to reach deeper. The silence trains them to become strong enough to break through. Anointed one. Your life has mirrored this time and time again. There were moments where you thought your gifts were being wasted. Moments where you felt overlooked. Moments where you wondered if anyone saw your effort. But heaven saw everything. Heaven watched your perseverance. Heaven recorded your small victories. Heaven honored your unseen obedience. The reason you carry wisdom beyond your years is because you grew through what others avoided. The reason your spirit carries authority is because you stayed faithful in seasons where no one clapped. The reason your discernment is sharp is because silence taught you to listen. Darkness taught you to see without sight. Obscurity taught you to recognize the voice of God in rooms where no one affirmed you. And here is what many will never understand. Your hidden years were not empty, they were holy. You learned to hear God in the quiet. You learned to rise on days you wanted to collapse. You learned to encourage yourself when encouragement was nowhere to be found. You learned to navigate spiritual warfare when no one else knew you were fighting. You became a woman who could stand even when life pressed hard against you. I remember a time in my own life when everything slowed down. All the doors I expected to open remained closed. The people I leaned on were suddenly distant. I felt like I was shrinking when I was actually expanding. It was only after that season ended that I understood. Heaven had me hidden because I needed strengthening, I needed clarity, I needed capacity, I needed depth, and all of that was formed in what I thought was darkness. Chosen one, you have lived this same story. You have had nights where you laid awake wondering why you were unseen. You have had days where you poured into others and wondered who would pour into you. You have lived through seasons where you were the backbone for everyone else, yet no one knew the weight you were carrying. These were not seasons of neglect, they were seasons of refinement. Your hiddenness was divine strategy. Heaven did not hide you to hinder you. Heaven hid you to protect you, to develop you, to keep you from environments that would have suffocated your growth, to guard your spirit from voices that would have shaped you incorrectly, to strengthen you for the assignment that is now rising in your life. Anointed one. Before we move to the seventh and final mark, let this truth settle deeply inside you. You did not grow in the dark because you were forgotten. You grew in the dark because heaven was preparing you to shine. Chosen one. Now we arrive at the seventh and final hidden mark. This is the mark that confuses darkness, strengthens heaven's testimony about you, and reveals the depth of your anointing more than anything else. It is the mark of unshakable joy in dry places. Joy that does not make sense to the world. Joy that refuses to bow to circumstance. Joy that rises even when everything else falls apart. Anointed one. You know this mark well. You have lived it without even realizing it. There have been seasons when life struck you hard, when storms came, when losses felt too heavy, when disappointments piled up, when exhaustion felt deeper than your bones. And yet somehow there was still a spark inside you. Something small but stubborn, something sacred, something that refused to die. While others crumbled under pressure, you found a way to breathe through it. While others cursed their situation, you whispered a quiet prayer. While others drowned in despair, you held on to hope even when you did not feel it. That is the mark of a chosen woman. Joy that remains even in drought. I once spoke with a woman who walked through one of the hardest seasons of her life. She lost her job. A loved one grew sick. Her closest friend betrayed her confidence. Her life looked barren. But one day, as she stood in her kitchen doing dishes, she felt a strange peace settle around her. A soft, steady peace she could not explain. She told me she felt like heaven placed a warm hand on her back and whispered, "Keep going." She said she did not shout or dance or celebrate. She simply breathed. And in that breath there was joy. Not loud joy, not emotional joy, holy joy. Chosen one, that is the joy you carry. Not the joy that comes from everything going right, but the joy that shows up even when everything goes wrong. This joy is spiritual. It does not rely on circumstances. It does not depend on people. It does not need applause or validation. It comes from a place deeper than emotion, older than your pain, stronger than your past. This kind of joy is dangerous to the enemy because he can handle your tears, he can handle your questions, he can handle your weakness, but he cannot handle your joy. Joy is a declaration of faith when nothing seems faithful. Joy is a proclamation of hope in the face of despair. Joy is a weapon that confuses every attack sent against you. You have lived through moments when you should have broken, yet you found strength you did not know you had. You have walked into seasons where the ground looked dry, yet something in your spirit kept blooming. You have faced battles that should have taken your praise, yet you still lifted your hands. That is joy in dry places. That is the seventh mark. Your joy is not denial. You are not pretending. You are not ignoring reality. You are simply anchored in a deeper truth. The truth that you are held, the truth that you are strengthened, the truth that your story is not over, the truth that every dry season is a setup for a fresh outpouring. Anointed one, think of the times you laughed through tears. Think of the days you encouraged others while carrying wounds of your own. Think of the moments you said, "I will be okay," even when you had no proof. These were not small moments. They were spiritual victories. Heaven watched them. Heaven honored them. Heaven counted them. Your joy is the echo of something eternal. It is the reminder that even when life changes, your source does not. This joy shows up in unexpected places. It shows up in the way you smile after pain. It shows up in how you speak hope when silence would be easier. It shows up in the way you keep believing, even when fear whispers you are done. Chosen one, you have carried joy into hospital rooms. You have carried joy into broken relationships. You have carried joy into empty bank accounts. You have carried joy into seasons of loss. And through it all, your spirit whispered, "I am still here." That whisper alone terrified the enemy because it proved he did not win. I want to share something deeply personal with you. There was a season when I felt like everything around me was falling apart. I had no answers, no clarity, no direction. But one morning, I woke up with a strange calm in my heart. I did not feel excited. I did not feel strong. I simply felt steady. I remember whispering thank you even though nothing had changed. And that tiny whisper shifted everything. It was not a victory shout. It was not a long prayer. It was a seed of joy. And that seed grew into strength, into clarity, into breakthrough. That is how joy works for the chosen. Quiet, steady, powerful, anointed one. Your joy is not loud, but it is unbreakable. It is woven into your identity. It is the sign that heaven has marked you. Because when a chosen woman still finds a reason to praise in the middle of drought, darkness, panics, because it knows a breakthrough is near. Before we close this final mark, let this truth settle in the deepest part of you. Your joy in dry places is proof that the enemy failed, and heaven has already claimed your victory. Chosen one. Now we enter the final movement of this sacred message. This is where everything you have heard begins to come together. This is where the 7 hidden marks no longer stand as separate signs, but weave into a single revelation about who you truly are. Heaven has been building this moment in your spirit for years, long before your mind ever understood what was happening. And now the veil is lifting. You are stepping into the recognition of your divine identity. Anointed. These 7 marks were never random. They were never scattered events. They were never unrelated pain points or emotional chapters. They were a spiritual pattern, a divine blueprint, a heavenly signature written across your life in quiet seasons and loud storms. Every scar, every stirring, every tear, every attack, every lonely night, every hidden season, every moment of unexplainable joy was part of a larger story that heaven was writing inside you. There are women who learn who they are through success, but the chosen woman learns who she is through survival. You were not shaped by applause. You were shaped by pressure. You were not made by comfort. You were made by fire. You were not strengthened by perfect seasons. You were strengthened in deserts, caves, battlefields, and hidden rooms where only God saw your effort. Chosen one, you have walked through more spiritual formation than most people ever will, and yet you still found the grace to stand. You still found the courage to believe again. You still held on to hope when hope seemed unreasonable. You still kept your heart open even after it had been bruised. That is what sets you apart. Not your appearance, not your talent, not your accomplishments, but your endurance, your resilience, your spirit that refused to surrender. You did not just survive what came against you. You were sculpted by it. There were moments when you felt like life was stripping things away from you. But now, heaven is showing you that those losses were not punishment. They were pruning, removing what could not grow with you, breaking what was limiting you, clearing what was beneath your worth. Every friendship that fell away, every opportunity that closed, every season that forced you to release what you held dear. These were not endings. They were divine alignments. I once spoke to a woman who told me she felt like everything in her life had been taken away piece by piece. She said it felt unfair, almost cruel, but years later she realized something she could not see back then. Everything that left her life was something that would have hindered her growth. She could not see it in the moment, but heaven was rearranging her future, protecting her calling, strengthening her spirit, making room for what she was destined to carry. chosen one. This same truth is rising for you right now. You are not reaching the end of your story. You are stepping into the beginning of revelation. You are shifting from confusion into clarity. You are moving from survival into identity. The marks you carry are not burdens. They are proof that heaven has invested in you. Think back to the times you felt forgotten. You were not forgotten. You were being hidden. Think back to the times you felt broken. You were not broken. You were being rebuilt. Think back to the times you felt weak. You were not weak. You were being prepared for strength. Everything you endured has been forming the woman heaven needs you to become, anointed one. The reason your story has been intense is because your calling is intense. The reason your seasons felt heavy is because your assignment carries weight. The reason your heart has always felt different is because it was never meant to mirror the world. It was meant to mirror heaven. You carry compassion that breaks chains. You carry discernment that protects destinies. You carry strength that terrifies darkness. You carry wisdom that can only be learned through fire. You carry a presence that shifts rooms, and you carry joy that refuses to die even in drought. You are not common. You are not ordinary. You are not replaceable. You are chosen. Now hear me clearly. You are entering a new spiritual chapter, a chapter where these marks no longer hurt you. They empower you. A chapter where what once confused you now becomes your clarity. A chapter where what once wounded you now becomes your ministry. A chapter where what once isolated you now becomes your distinction. A chapter where your voice strengthens, your spirit rises, your identity settles, your confidence blooms, your vision sharpens. You are not stepping into blessing by accident. You are stepping into blessing because you are ready. Heaven does not reveal identity before it is formed. Heaven waits until the spirit is mature enough to carry what has been prepared. And chosen. 1. You are ready now. Everything you have walked through has prepared you for this moment. Your loneliness taught you discernment. Your battles taught you resilience. Your pain taught you compassion. Your hidden seasons taught you depth, and your joy taught you faith. Anointed one, heaven did not bring you this far to leave you empty-handed. There is a shift happening in your atmosphere. You can feel it, even if you cannot name it. Your spirit has been sensing movement. Your heart has been feeling transition. Your mind has been catching glimpses of something new. You are stepping into divine timing. You are stepping into supernatural clarity. You are stepping into the unveiling of identity. Your marks are becoming your mantle. There's a reason you are hearing this now. Not 5 years ago, not 10 years ago, not last month. Now, because the markings you carry have matured. The season that once felt like breaking is now turning into birthing. The identity you once doubted is now becoming undeniable. Heaven is releasing recognition into your life. Recognition of who you are. Recognition of what you carry. Recognition of the anointing that has been woven into your spirit from the beginning. Chosen one, as you step forward from this message, carry this truth with you. Your scars are your strength. Your sensitivity is your gift. Your isolation is your training. Your battles are your confirmation. Your joy is your weapon. Your calling is your inheritance. And your identity is your revelation. You are a chosen woman. Heaven knows you. Darkness fears you. Destiny waits for you. Chosen one. As we come to the end of this message, let your spirit remain open, because what you have heard today is not merely information, it is recognition. These 7 hidden marks have followed you your entire life, not as burdens, but as evidence that heaven has been shaping you, guiding you, and setting you apart from the beginning. You are awakening to the identity that was woven into your soul long before the world ever named you. You are stepping into the truth of who you truly are. Anointed. 1. Hear this with reverence. Nothing you endured was wasted. Every scar became strength. Every tear became seed. Every moment of isolation became instruction. Heaven has been cultivating you in silence, refining you in hidden places, and preparing you for a spiritual assignment that only a chosen woman can carry. This moment is not the end of your journey. It is the unveiling of it. You are not walking into your purpose. You are rising into it. Chosen one, may your spirit be filled with clarity. May your heart be anchored in truth. May your steps be guided by the same divine hand that carried you through every storm. Walk forward with the quiet authority of a woman who knows she is seen, selected, and sealed by heaven. Let your discernment sharpen. Let your confidence strengthen. Let your joy remain unshakable. You carry the marks because you carry the mantle. And now, beloved anointed one, receive this blessing. May every hidden part of you come into alignment with your divine calling. May every gift that has been lying dormant begin to awaken. May every assignment that belongs to you find its way into your hands. May your path be illuminated. May your spirit stand tall. May your identity be unmovable. You are chosen. You are marked. You are equipped. Nothing formed against you will prosper because heaven has already declared your victory. If this word witnessed to your spirit, take a moment to declare it. Speak life into your own journey. Share what resonated. Let your voice join the rising chorus of chosen women across the world. And if you desire more messages that speak to your hidden identity and divine calling, feel welcome to stay connected here. Go in strength, chosen one. Walk in purpose, anointed one. Heaven is with you, and your story has only just begun.